second episode of the leveling guide for the Hierophant totems, and this is going to be Act 2. The previous video was for Act 1, and I made it all the way into town of Act 2, and yeah, I'll be continuing from here. If you like this content, remember to subscribe, like the video. It helps me out a lot, and you can recommend this to anyone who's league starting Hierophant, I guess. I think it'll definitely be a good starting point. This might not be the best, but it's definitely something that I always use every league start, so yeah, something that we can use. So as a recap, we killed Merville, we got our Cold Wandcraft, we got some nice move speed boots, we got our BBG gloves here for Orb Storms and Frostbomb with Onslaught. In this act, we are going to be progressing through this place. We're going to go firstly to the Chamber of Sins, and on the way there we're going to try to get a Quicksilver before that. And after Chamber of Sins level 2, we'll be going to kill Weaver, and then we will do the 3 bandits, then we'll do the trial, and then we'll go to Caverns and kill the boss. So that will be the idea for this episode. So without further ado, let's go. So I think I mentioned towards the end of the previous episode, we need 5 alterations in total, 3 for skill gems. We need 3 for skill gems, and 2 of them for the Wandcrafts. We'll be needing the high level Wandcrafts within this. We need to put the correct filter on. Chance Orb is really important. So Chance Orb, we'll need to purchase some stuff in 2B1G boots. We don't really need that, we'll just loot it. So here we're looking for the den in this area. And if we see the den, we drop a bottle scroll. We don't have a bottle scroll, but that's so we don't drop anything. So the den will be probably on the bottom side of the map because we didn't see it. So I was saying earlier that we need the Wandcrafts. So what we need is 2 alterations, and then
I must have time to gather my will.
After that, we need 2 topaz rings, and we need to essence them up to level 20. So that's what we need. So if we get spare essences, we can use it on the boots, and hope to get movement speed. But we'll need to keep 2 essences for. Oh, it's right here. We need to keep 2 essences for the topaz rings that we're gonna get. So there's 2 ways to get topaz ring. 3 actually. You can just loot it off the ground. Firstly, second way, you can purchase from the vendor topaz rings directly for 3 wisdoms, or you can vendor up an iron ring with an iron ring, a green gem, and then you will get a topaz ring. So we need a normal topaz ring. It's probably almost impossible to get a rare topaz ring. So because if you get a magic topaz ring, what happens is that you're gonna have some issues because you can't make it into a rare topaz ring unless you have a regal, and even if you do, you don't want to use it on the topaz ring this early in the game. Okay, maybe you do, but you probably won't get a regal. So I did the den quest, and you saw that I got the Quicksilver, which we'll be using for the rest of the act, for the rest of the game actually. So now that we got that, we'll go back to the crossroads and go to Chamber of Sins. So this Quicksilver is enough to get us adrenaline, which is additional move speed. So if you're really lucky, when you get the Quicksilver, immediately you'll get the adrenaline roll, which is additional movement speed. But it's kind of hard to get it. I'm not sure what the odds are, but it's something like you need at least 20 alts or something like that. It's not easy to get. But the idea is that this Quicksilver has a high enough eye level for you to be able to get the adrenaline roll on the flask. So your Quicksilver from the Tidal Island, that one is not good enough. The eye level is too low. You cannot get adrenaline on that flask. So when you're rolling, you want to roll the flask you get in this act. So in Chamber of Sins, there's only 3 places that can have the waypoint to level 2. and it's at the bottom left, bottom right, and the top right. So those are the 3 places you need to check for that. Within the Chamber of Sins level 2, you want to be able to find the trial. It's not very nice to backtrack to do the trial here, so you want to kind of do it straight away. And usually it's not that bad. It's usually on the road to the the spider boy with the legs and stuff. So usually easy to find, and you really I would recommend you doing this on the way there. Okay, in terms of gem links, what we want to do is we want to find a spare green gem. So we have a spare green gem slot that will be for the Herald of Ice, and then we will get the Herald of Thunder, and we will get Wave of Conviction. In terms of priority, we want at least the Herald of Thunder and the Wave of Conviction for Weaver, which is what's going to happen after this. So we want to aim for that. So if we have not enough alts, of course, we will just get the we'll do without the Herald of Thunder. This guy does serious lightning damage with the lightning strike, so you don't want to take it head on. And we got quite a good number of rares here. So you can see that we have some spare transmutations. We need 2 transmutations to make 1 transmutation actually to make the Wandcraft. Here we're gonna check for a BBG because we don't have a BBG yet, or we can get a 3B. That's also possible. So we can get this wand here. It costs 1 transmute, and that's okay because this is already magic. So we just need an alteration and a rare topaz for this wand. So we don't need to worry so much. So this is going to be a purchase, and I will typically buy this one. So you can notice that we are short on wisdom scrolls, so I'll definitely vendor these 2. So to get the 3 wisdom scrolls, and then I want to vendor up to get some alteration scraps, alteration shards. And so that's what I will be getting. I will leave the wand here, and from here I will purchase the Wave of Conviction and the Herald of Ice. I'll go to Gruus, take the reward, and I'll get the Herald of Thunder. Doesn't really matter which is which, but you just grab those. And the next thing that we're going to aim for will be a few things. Firstly, on your skill tree, we want to get all the way till Elemental Overload, so that's our next breakpoint for our power spike. So we need 2 more skill points here, and we need to get to level 16 to use these gems, and we're currently level 14, so we're a little under level because we had a very short Chamber of Sins run. We had quite a good layout. So over here we are going to be aiming to EXP just a little bit more to get to level 16 before Weaver, so we can get Elemental Overload plus the skill gems. Some of the racers recommend killing all the at least for League Start guides, they recommend killing all the people or all these beasts inside this zone, so that in Act 4 we can craft the anti-bleed flask. So I need to backtrack quite a bit here because whetstones are huge early game especially, and I'm out of wisdom, so all the more I need to backtrack and pick that up. Greater mana blast, that is an upgrade to what I have. Chrome, a definite grab. So I'll swap out my flasks and grab the waypoint here. So it's important to grab that waypoint because we'll need to come back here and use that waypoint to go to Oak when we're doing our bandits. So here is nothing special, just run along, Quicksilver, get your onslaught charges with the kills, and that's about it. So at the back of my mind, I know that I will still need the topaz rings. So this is an interesting one here. This is a layout which you can notice that there's a road in the center, and the waypoint will exist on one side of the road. So how is this important? We know that the waypoint is on the left, which means the Weaver is on the right side of the road, and the Bandit will be on the left. So who is it? I forgot her name at the moment, but yeah, the bandit that we are, Alira, she's on the left side of the road. So when we come in, we grab the waypoint, and then we go to the right side of the road because we want to go to Weaver's chambers. So here we are aiming some more EXP. We got to level 16. That's best for us. So in this case, I will just hit straight to Weavers, and we have everything we need to do the deeps. I have spare ring slots, so I can just pick up the ruby ring for some fire resistance, and we need some of those in Act 3. So Weaver's Chambers is quite tricky. I'll typically check the bottom left first. And we need a Jade Amulet actually to be able to equip the Herald of Ice, but since we don't, we can just leave that for now. So I want to be able to equip some of these gems over here, and the Herald of Thunder as well. So we turn on the Herald of Thunder, and we'll be using our Wave of Conviction for Weaver. So this zone spawned the Vaal side area, which threw me a little bit off, because it creates the additional zone there, which is misleading. So the Weaver's Chamber should be all the way at the top, I think, or not. It could be even more misleading that it goes all the way through. Oh, I see it. It's all the way up there. So this is a confusing layout, and it's normal to get lost in this zone sometimes. I just missed it by a hair. So what we want to do here is that we want to take a little bit of step forward, throw your Stormblast Mine, so the same as a Merveil fight. Wave of Conviction, and then you should almost insta-face this guy. So the Merveil fight and the other fights, the power of the Stormblast Mine is that you can pre-stack a huge number of stacks, and you can kind of cheese the phases by just phasing the boss immediately and things like that. So that's why it's one of the very popular choice of racing skills of choice.
3B.
We got 3B Helm. We got a rare. So inventory management is very important. Did I put it wrongly? I did. Okay, yeah, and then you can pour it out after that. So I know that I can pick up a few more rares and magics to vendor because I have the blacksmith whetstone I can vendor. So that would give me enough ID scrolls to be able to ID all of these. So what we're aiming for once again is 2 more alterations, which we have to do the Wandcraft. But having more alterations is always better, because we can alteration the flask that we just got for movement speed, and that is what we will be aiming for. So now I can see that in terms of status check for end of Act 2, we have enough alterations, so that's great. We have the transmute to make this magic, to make the wand magic, which I accidentally vendored. I have a replacement for my helm for additional blue slot, so that's good. So in terms of the sanity check, I'm missing an alchemy or an essence. I actually have an alchemy, so I'm actually set in that regard. What other things? So now I want to get a gem. Herald of Thunder goes into here. Sorry, Herald of Thunder can stay here. So I want to grab my gems after killing Weaver. So in this case, I want to grab Elemental Focus. And we typically don't have enough currency to be able to purchase more gems or have slots to use more gems. So I'll just usually just grab Ele Focus here and just keep my currency that I have. And I'll need to prepare for the Topaz Ring crafts. So I'll check Yina for firstly a Jade Amulet to be able to use my Herald of Ice. There isn't any, and none dropped as well, but that's fine. We can see that we have no Topaz Rings to purchase, and we have only 1 spare transmute here, which we can vendor for Wisdom Scrolls. In this situation, what I'll do is I'll vendor this transmute as well as a couple of transmute shards here to grab Wisdom Scrolls. And then with these Wisdom Scrolls, I'll purchase the 2 Iron Rings, and I'll go back to Act 1, which where I'll purchase 2 green gems for 1 Wisdom. If you see any green gems along the way, it is a good idea to just pick them up, because you might need them for the vendor craft. So this is how you get 2 topaz normal rings, and we can go ahead and make these into rares, which we'll use for vendor recipe, and we can only use the wand at level 20. So only when we are level 20 can we use these vendor crafts. So in the meanwhile, after you created your rings, you can use these because they do give resistance and life and stuff like that. So in terms of Act 2, we've killed Weaver, we've done Chamber of Sins. So next I'll usually go and do the bandits, and then I'll do the trials after. So for the bandits, at League Start, it is usually a very good choice to get Alira. He gives all rest, making you easier to gear, especially if you're going to crit build like Arc Totems. It'll be very helpful here. I typically am indifferent towards Alira and Aramir, so we can just kill all bandits. And typically in the end game, I feel that the 2 skill points kind of comes out on top, makes it easier to get all your clusters, things like that. And so previously in previous leagues, I would get Alira, just because it's much faster. You have one less bandit to kill, right?
I must have time to gather my will.
But in this case, I would take 2 skill points in recent leagues, because it makes the end game a little bit stronger because you have more skill points. So I should have pre-stacked there, but I didn't. So next I'll go to kill either Alira or Oak, doesn't really matter. So I was last visited Act 1, so that's why I appeared here. I'll go to Act 2 first, and then I will go to kill Alira. So every time you log out, you will go to the previous town you were. So the reason why I chose to go Alira is because we recently came to this area, and zones reset after every 8 to 15 minutes, something like that. So I didn't want to risk re-exploring this area, although it's highly unlikely that the zone would have reset in that time. But just because it doesn't really matter, so I'll just come here. Once again, I forgot to pre-stack my mines, but that's fine, doesn't take very long. So we'll be aiming for level 18, and then we'll be equipping our Ele Focus, giving our Stormblast Mine a tree link. So Stormblast Mine, Added Lightning, and Ele Focus. We got a Life Blast here, but we got a rare Topaz Ring. So this is a very unlikely scenario that we get this. So it's really cool that we got a rare Topaz Ring, so we can use that for future wand crafts if we get a better wand, for example.
Return if you must.
So we go for Oak, and then we'll backtrack for the trial. So over here, it's nearby, so that's why I said it's very important to get this waypoint in this zone. Let's go. So here, what we want to do is that we typically just want to run through the center of this zone. If we see Oak, we do it, and typically we will see Oak here. So what you want to do is that you want to talk to him, precast your mines. He did the white swing. That's unlucky, because what the swing does is that it removes all the.
You dare to speak for peace, outlaw.
It removes all the mines that we
There's the
pre-stack.
piece of lies about
Unfortunate, but sometimes it happens. So over here, we want to get a waypoint, and then we can go to Crossroads, and then we can do the trial. So after the trial, we'll go back to town. We'll talk to Iramir for our 2 skill points, and then we will go to back to there, and then we'll run through the caverns. So here is just mulling through this. So we see that we still have a Herald of Ice that we haven't used. So we still need a Jade Amulet that's outstanding for us. Whenever you see monsters, you want to drop either like a Frost Bomb or an Orb of Storms. You want to kill monsters to be able to get Quicksilver charges as well as Onslaught charges. So you just want to keep that up as much as you can. Oh, this is far. Oops.
My mana is spent.
My mana is spent.
A house of faith.
So the next area that you want to go for is the movement speed cluster, which gives a cooldown reduction to your skills.
2B1G helm.
Over here, there is the trial, so you want to aim to get the trial in this zone. That's why we come to Felshire. So this will already be our third trial, and you can see how we are incorporating into the run. I would highly recommend that you do the trials as you progress through the acts, because firstly, you not only get more EXP because you kill more monsters, which will keep you consistent with the level, but also you have higher chance of getting better loot because you kill more monsters along the way. And if you were to backtrack when you're higher level, you don't get as much monsters, you don't get as much EXP, sorry. And the downside would be, the other downside would be that you have the loot that you get will not be as good. So now we hit level 18, we can use our LE focus with now trailing, and this will be our main DPS setup. Storm Blast Mine, Adult Lightning, and LE focus. The rest is Arcane Surge and Flame Dash, and then we have single Herald of Thunder, single Wave of Conviction, and these guys over here. So once again, I accidentally vended my wand because I wasn't focusing. But here we have a BBG wand. It's really good, and it's a quartz wand, so you just a little bit higher implicit. So I'll grab this one, transmute it, and I can immediately vendor the wand for the wand craft. And you can see how it looks like. It requires level 20, and it gives huge amounts of flat damage. So this is the recipe, and I can prepare my first wand here. So the next craft I will just need to do for the wand over here, and we'll do that right before the boss. If you remember, we have to do our Iramir because we killed all the bandits, and we get 2 additional skill points, and we are done for this act. All we need to do is just go and kill Vaal Oversoul. Let's go. So we use the little spike that we had, and we open this Vaal Ruins. Okay, so this zone is once again another tricky zone. It's very confusing. I typically run this enough and go by feeling, which I'm obviously wrong. My first try, I reached the dead end. Very nice.
2B1G body.
2B1G body. So for the bodies, we'll be getting our body armor in Act 3, and we'll only use it once we have a 4 link, which is of the correct colors for us. So I'll cover that in the next video, and I'll be going through what the links will be for Act 3. So we're quite starved for wisdom, so I'll pick up the wisdom scrolls. Over here looks like a more open area. Looks like it's going to be the bottom side. So one of the layouts that I'm aware of is some snaky layout, so it's going to be like an S-shaped layout from where you start, and it just will snake through all the way to where it goes. War Sword rare. And yeah, here we are. So kind of going by feeling, we didn't really encounter many issues here. And yeah, we go to Northern Forest. So we have enough to grab the movement speed reduction. I'll show you guys what it is. This is Dark Arts. It's very, very good, especially at League Start, to grab Dark Arts, because you have higher uptime on your Flame Dash, your Smoke Mine, things like that. So it's very good to grab all these nodes. And it'll be after grabbing LE Overload, this is the next important one to grab. In this zone, I typically don't go out of my way to grab the waypoint. It's a bit far, there's like a hook around, so I usually don't get it, and you don't really need to unless you're playing in a party and you want one of your party members to farm. This is a very good zone to grab EXP, and the monsters are quite dense, so this place is not bad at all. Oh my god, it's actually up there. So I'll proc the Strongbox, and I'll drop a Frost Bomb, so it'll guarantee a lot of monsters being killed, giving me flash charges and onslaught. Transmute, so I'll go back for that. So we want to make sure that we are level 20 before we kill Vaal Oversoul, and that's because we want to use the wands that we crafted, or that we are going to craft and have crafted. So now I got my second wand, my crafted wand, so I'm gonna deal some serious damage. run over here. So in this zone, we get a movement speed craft. So if you don't already have your movement speed boots, I recommend grabbing these. The craft requires 3 orcs, which we have a good chance of getting by this point, and which we have. And so we usually just grab this craft, go to the waypoint, and then proceed with the axe. If you don't have your movement speed, that will be a good chance because we are at a waypoint. You go to your hideout, go to your crafting bench, and craft on the movement speed. That would be the best time to do it. We had quite a good layout there. We didn't need to search too far for the waypoint for the next zone. That was lucky. If it's not bottom left, it will be top right. Looks like it's top right. So these zones are very squarish. So if you see the starting point and where it extends to, it looks like this. So I'm quite sure that the waypoint is over there after we have explored the top left and bottom left. So it's over here as expected, and then we go to the next zone, and all these zones are all in like a box shape. So just keep that in mind, so you don't need to wonder where the waypoints are, and it will get smaller and smaller. Because if you imagine a pyramid, as you get to the apex, it's smaller and smaller, so it's going to get easier and easier to find the waypoint to the next zone. So here you can see that I did one flame dash and I already can see the exit. And this is the pyramid apex. I'm going to rush there and grab the dark altar to start the roleplay for the boss animation. So in this scenario, what you want to do is that you want to start crafting begin your thing over here, drop your waypoint, and while you're managing your inventory, you prepare all your rings and everything. You put it all here ready, and then you waypoint out. So you want to spend as much time inside there, because even if you portal out, the boss will not progress in the animation. So you want to spend as much time in there while you sort out everything. You come back to town, bam bam bam, done. We go back in, and then we immediately continue the boss roleplay. Remember, turn on the... So he'll go down immediately after, usually. So in the next phase, we will try to DPS. So we use Wave on Conviction there. Wave Conviction, blast him down.
My mana is spent. Wet.
And we are done. So that is Act 2. It's pretty solid. So here you want to log out because the exit to this zone takes ages to get rid of. And so we portal out. We can vendor all the items that the boss drops. Here we got 2 boots, so you might get an upgrade here. No upgrade, unfortunately. This is a very good pair of boots, but it doesn't beat move speed, so I wouldn't use it. We got a wisdom scroll, so we can just vendor that for, a whetstone, so we can vendor that for some stuff. This is a really good helm, but we don't use it. So that's pretty much it for the act. Let me know in the